I guess I understand, but not really. Hi everybody, it's Tristan and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're doing another Euphoria video. This is over episode 3 of season 3. What a time, what a journey that was. I have a lot of thoughts and a lot of things to touch on, so let's get right into this mess. At the top of the episode, we are back with Rue, and Homegirl is an arms dealer. I actually thought this was hilarious. This whole scene of her like presenting these guns to these like random men is a callback to that like season 2 presentation she was doing. I have to give it to Rue. She's a really good public speaker. I can't really say she's good at like a lot of things, but she is really good at a presentation and she is really good at selling weapons. And Alamo apparently thinks so too. He's sitting there like, that is my employee of a month. And then a pig walks in and he shoots it point blank and splatters blood all over one of his strippers. That poor girl did not deserve that. That poor girl did not need to be covered in swine flu, but she was. I know at some point this beef between Alamo and Lorie is gonna turn into like a full-on war situation. Like, it's probably gonna get pretty bad. But up to this point, their weapon of choice has been a pig.
You're a real fucking pig!
Rue's just openly out here talking about going legit or whatever, like doing things the legal way eventually when she has enough money to do so. And I'm like, girl, you are in a strip club where farm animals are obliterated. The scary man with the gun is probably not the person you should be saying this to. Some thoughts we should keep to ourselves. I'm also gonna go ahead and take this moment to give a shout out to Rosalia. She's a very famous Latina artist. She's the girl who plays the stripper with a neck brace on. And I have to say, she was eating up that pole and she got rich off of that. She said, I can get this settlement money and get the 20s that are raining on me. Watch. I'm also very happy to announce that we got a lot more Jules in this episode. Unfortunately, early on when we see her wrapped in saran wrap from one of her sugar daddies. Arguably her favorite sugar daddy, definitely I think the richest one. He's her only one at this point. So I want to go ahead and say and touch on something that I touched on in the last episode. Jules is in fact exuding power. She is taking all of this money from these men. However, it's definitely power that was bestowed upon her. I don't necessarily know if she feels fully confident in what she's doing, but she does know that she's getting bank off of it. So girl, I'm happy for you with your money, but I also fear you're in like a very dangerous situation and she is not the only one. We will get to that. But whenever I saw this plastic surgeon sugar daddy wrapping her in saran wrap for the vibes, really what I was thinking in that moment and what I think a lot of us were thinking in that moment is if there was any cereal in that room, it would have been killed. It was giving suitcases are about to be scarier to you than they ever were to Rue. And Jules, did I see some lines of something in your bathroom? When did we start playing in the snow? You might be hanging out with Rue a little too much, but that's not my place to say. Next, I need to talk about the biggest sequence of this entire episode, Cassie and Nate's wedding. Right from the jump, I need to say, most of those $50,000 flowers were worth the money. Most. It actually was a gorgeous wedding. I just think some of it was a little tacky. Actually, quite a few things were a little tacky. The giant C and N sign that was behind her when she was walking down the aisle, we didn't need that. I think that was a little bit, we could have saved a few thousand. Let me hit you with the best dress list for this wedding to me before I get too far into this. Jules, Maddie, Cassie, I don't want to hear any disagreement on that. Jules walked in there looking like a goddess, but why are you wearing that to a wedding?
And what my colleagues and I have discovered is nothing short of a flagrant disregard for decency in the pursuit of deviant self-expression. Why don't we take a look at some clips?
Maddie walked in there looking like a diva, but why are you wearing that to a wedding? Cassie's dress was really beautiful, however, she was about to spill out of that situation. I think we could have given her some better support. I just can only imagine if I was Cassie, I would have been constantly worrying about that the entire night. But her dress was really gorgeous. That silhouette was everything. The reception gown that dress turned into though, not a lot of class. Not a lot of class for Cass. But has she ever had a lot of class? I'm just gonna... Also, some of the music in this episode like actually sent me to the moon. We need Labyrinth back bad. Cause why was Maddie's entrance music to the wedding like literally from The Little Mermaid? Throughout these 3 episodes, I have caught on to a theme. The music is either one of 3 things: tropical beach vibes, mariachi, or orchestra. And the only time in this episode that we got kind of club music was whenever they were in the reception and everybody was like hardcore dancing to the Sweat Drip Down My Balls song. That's not the kind of club music we need. We need clubby music that makes us sad and existential. And in some kind of way, I think that music did do that to me. Adjacent to the feeling I actually want to feel. Also, I felt so bad bad for Jules at this wedding. She never wanted to go. Rue brought her there. And then Rue ditched her. Granted, Rue didn't have like much of a choice. And then Maddie said, oh, you can be my +1, which is like, girl, yes. But then you ditched her too. And I know you're all sad bitch energy, and I guess I understand, but not really. I would have just stayed and stuck my claim. You're already there. And Jules, you are such a kind soul. You gave way more grace to both of the Jacobs men than either of them arguably deserve. You stood your ground and you talked your shit, but those two troubled men, you haunt them forever. Speaking of haunting, Cassie's mom, Nate's mom, and dad all just like trauma dumped all over that wedding. Cassie was getting walked down the aisle to her mom's entire like dissertation about why she is like no longer happy and how her wedding was like the last happy moment she had with her father, like Cassie's father. Girl, now is not the time for a trauma dump. She was really like, yeah, it was all beautiful and amazing, and there was all the people and all the music, and then my life just fell apart. And Cassie's just sitting there like,
I don't even know why she would say that.
like, shut up. If I was Cassie, I would have just turned to her and been like, shh, no, shut, just. And then Cal got on the microphone during the reception and was like, I have a bad past, let's keep drinking. And then Nate's mom got on the microphone and was like, congratulations to the new Mr. and Mrs. Jacobs because we are divorced. Thank you for that clarification. Please sit down. Cassie, Nate, I fear there was never hope for you two as individuals. Your parents are an atrocity. It's too much. I don't think I would have hit him with the invite. And also during her speech, she was just dogging on Maddie. I know Miss Perez has some problems and she is not a perfect individual. She has done her fair share of bullshit, but damn. See, this is what I'm talking about with some Maddie character development, because she just kindly got up and she dipped out of that bitch. But I like to think if there was a bowl of chili, it would have been tipped all over his mother. Cause don't talk to her like that. Don't be a jealous little wench. I know you didn't do anything wrong and you have every right to dog on Maddie low-key, but I'm a Maddie apologist in this moment, so I don't want to hear it. They also brought back BB the vape girl. Y'all, I was so happy to see her, and she's pregnant. Whenever Maddie goes, she probably doesn't know who the baby daddy is, and the girl walks up to her and is like, did you change your number? And Maddie's just like, she didn't walk in with a vape, and good for you because you're pregnant. But she walked in the craziest outfit, just the littlest dress with her entire baby bump on display. They really said, fuck it, anything goes in this episode. This wedding is gonna be whatever we want it to be, and they made it that. And then all of a sudden, during this slightly beautiful, slightly corny wedding, one of Nate's investors comes and pays him a visit. Hey, this man wasn't invited, but hey, he invited himself. This investor man said, you are spending a lot of money that you don't have to be spending right now. And we all know that's true. You guys remember in my last Euphoria video when I was like, oh my god, Nate's investors are gonna like pull out and not want to like deal with him. Well, they're dealing with him, just casually threatening him in a room full of people. Lexi literally looks over to Cassie and she's like, are you good? And Cassie's like, why would you ask something like that? Of course I'm good, while literally looking like her eyes are about to pop out of her head. The stress exuding from Cassie was something to be noted. Sydney Sweeney really put on her acting pants for this episode, and they were fitting just right. And Lexi, what were you wearing? Matter of fact, what were all of the bridesmaids wearing? I didn't fully hate them, but they were definitely giving circa 1950 Cinderella. Like the pink dress she was originally gonna wear to the ball. Many aesthetic decisions that I just don't think I also would have made for this wedding, including that dance, cause what do you mean Cassie's having a full-on mental breakdown by doing what, the foxtrot? With her literal nipple pasties out at her wedding. Like when I said that they were spilling out, I meant it. Without those pasties, it would have been nipples on the dance floor. Shawty got her nipples out on the dance floor. And then we have a Cassie and Nate fight at the wedding. Good. Honestly, I feel like we need it. Like she is going boo-hoo crazy up in this bitch. And whenever that one friend of hers, I think her name's Heather, she goes up to Cassie and she's like, we invested our children's college fund into you guys and now Nate's in debt, we don't have money, blah, blah, blah. She wasn't really crying, but she was just like freaking out. And Cassie goes, what does that have to do with me? Cassie, you ate with that one because true. I don't think investing your children's college fund anywhere other than into their college is probably a good idea, you know? And then Cassie's freaking out with a bottle of champagne and pops a cork into Nate's eye, and I'm like, good job, Cassie. It was probably an accident, but you know, get him. Poor girl, truly. No amount of money spent could make that the best night of your life. Not with what went down there. And then we're getting towards the end of the episode and Maddie's going back to her dumpster alley apartment, and I'm like, girl, I feel bad for you, but literally do not think that you are missing out on something. anything. Do not think that like Cassie took something from you. You dodged a bullet, both metaphorical and probably literal here in the near future. Like, you're gonna be okay. It's okay. Then we have Rue going back to Lorie's house to do a pickup. And I have to say, I love Lorie. Her character is like literally one of my favorites in this show. The actor who plays her is literally so funny. In real life, her TikTok has me rolling all the time.
Hey guys, welcome to Forehead Corner.
Like the part of the episode where her two cronies are like, should we just kidnap Rue back? And she goes, well, I do miss her. She said, I don't care how I get Rue back. I hate all of you guys and I need her company again. Get her. Please bring her back to me. The three things Lorie likes in this life at this point apparently are her bird, Rue, and money. And poor Paladin, whenever her parrot got poisoned, that to me was arguably the saddest part of the episode. I did not like that at all. Do not involve this bird in your activities, y'all. He is not a part of this. Your revenge plots can be played out some other way. And then Rue is on her way back from that little interaction at Lorie's house and she gets pulled over. Hey, remember when I congratulated Rue on not winding up in jail or dead? I might have spoken too soon. I really might have spoken too soon. That cop went up to her window, went tap, 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 and said, Ruby Bennett? Wow! You already knew who she was. Rue, it's not looking good for you at all. He clocked your ass immediately. He said, DEA, you're done. And then to wrap it all up, we get a Cassie and Nate home invasion. Nate's carrying her through the threshold just like he said he would. They're about to go upstairs and have a beautiful last bit of their wedding night. And then all of a sudden, they're not alone. And Mr. Investor Man came with a friend. And then Mr. Investor Man's friend starts beating the living shit out of Nate Jacobs. They made whatever Fez did to Nate look like nothing compared to what this guy did. That shit was straight out of an A24 horror movie. He was getting absolutely brutalized. And then Cassie gets thrown to the floor and she starts bleeding. And this is literally, I shouldn't be laughing because homegirl is literally having her husband beat up during a home invasion. But she just goes, I'm bleeding. That is some of the funniest shit I have ever seen. Like, he is getting beat up on the stairs behind her and it's just focused on her and she's like, it's my wedding night. It was supposed to, Girl, I do feel bad for you, but at the end of the day, you married Nate Jacobs and he is a dirty liar. He's a crazy man. We can't be surprised that he was also conning people. That scene of her is one of the most iconic moments in the entire series. I'm sorry, there are a lot of really iconic Cassie moments that are just drilled into the brain, and that's gonna be one of them.
What is happening right now?
And then we tie up this home invasion all nice and beautiful with Nate losing a toe. This man literally drags him into the living room and Mr. Investor Man pulls out a pair of whatever those were and goes, Nate Jacobs lost a piggy. Oh my god, 2 pigs died this episode. The literal one and Nate's toe. And all over the vintage 70s carpet. They are never gonna get the blood out of that. Cassie's biggest worry that night was, I don't want to be poor. I'm like, oh, well, I think I'd take being poor over whatever that was. But I'm actually really scared for Cassie because Mr. Investor Man was like, some wives inherit riches, some wives inherit debt. And I was like, oh, he's going to hold her to account too. Why do I get the feeling like she's literally gonna get kidnapped and like held for ransom or something? And what's really gonna scare me is if Alamo and Mr. Investor Man know each other and like Cassie ends up getting trafficked or something. Like, I'm not playing that. I'm not. So we ended this episode with Rue getting arrested, Cassie and Nate having a home invasion and Nate losing a toe, Lexi once again just vibing, Jules going home to her sugar daddy, and Maddie going home kind of sad about a man who arguably would have ruined her entire life. Once again, Maddie, here, come here. I'm gonna hold you when I say this. I'm gonna cup your face with love right now and say, it's okay. You are much better off not in that family and so far away from all of that. However, I did see some leaked set photos of this season and there are scenes with Maddie and Alamo talking together and I'm like, girl, what are you getting into? I don't know, guys. Everybody might be going to Karma City this season. They've all fucked around in one way or another, and I think they're all finding out. So yeah, that's my little debrief of Euphoria Season 3, Episode 3. What an absolute disaster. Good episode. I did like it. We need to do something about this score, though. The music needs a shift. Not in every part, just in some. Once again, give me a bass drop. Thank you. Anyways, y'all, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope this episode scarred you just as much as it did me. It left a lasting impression. And I am beyond, say it with me, gagged. Okay, bye. I'm gonna go get some fresh air. I'll see y'all in the next video.